So I've got some tips for you guys who claim that you have no time, all right? And I know a lot of you guys legitimately are busy people. And I hear from so many people, I just don't have time to make music. So I'm gonna give you a couple ideas that might help, all right? So hang tight for that. All right. So the thing about it is, when it comes to time, I mean, in one way or another, everyone has the same amount of time. Some people have more time than others, basically because they're able to work less, they're able to delegate much of their work and all that sort of stuff. So you're, at the end of the day, as much as you're caught up in this circumstance of lack of time for the things that you love doing, you really got to look at it in a different way. I mean, whose responsibility is it? Whose time is it? Who ultimately makes a decision on how much time you have and how much freedom you have in your life? Now, I'm not going to go too deep into that, but I just want to plant that little seed in your head so that you don't look at things as being a victim of your circumstances. You're not a victim of your circumstances. You just happen to have made choices that work for you on one level and don't work for you on another. Typically, that means that it works for you on maybe a financial level, but it doesn't work for you on a time level. So anyway, without changing your job and that sort of thing. Also, I'm wondering what's going on with the screen being all blurry. Hang tight just a second. Oh yeah, I've got auto focus on or something like that. Hang tight. There, now it shouldn't get blurry. All right, so here's my tips, all right? So first tip is when it comes to your music, sit down 15 minutes a day. Everyone can come up with 15 minutes a day. If you can't come up with 15 minutes every day to do something you're passionate about, then you really need to evaluate your priorities in your life, right? Maybe this isn't something that's a passion for you, but it is. If it's an absolute passion for you, there's no reason that you can't sit down in front of your computer and do something. And when I mean do something, that doesn't mean sit and listen to a loop for 15 minutes. It doesn't mean watching tutorials for 15 minutes. What it means is taking 15 minutes and moving whatever you're working on one step closer. However small that step, just move it one step closer. As far as watching videos or tutorials or guys like me or whatever, do that outside of your 15 minutes. That way, you are actually working on music every day. And what will happen in most cases is that you'll notice that this 15-minute time frame will open up sometimes and give you more time than you thought you had. And eventually, you might have a half hour a day or something like that. Time just seems to open up when you prioritize. So 15 minutes a day. So that doesn't mean sit down for 3 hours one day and then just screw off the rest of the week. If you work an hour today or 3 hours a day, that still means that tomorrow you've got to put in at least 15 minutes. So that's my first tip for you guys who are running short on time. My second tip for you guys is go to sleep an hour earlier. Most of the time, your last hour of the day is your least productive anyway. You're just kind of in zone out mode, right? So if you just cut that from the end of your day and tack it on to the beginning of your day and wake up an hour earlier, you could actually make music before all the craziness of your day gets started. And most people, even people who think that they're night owls, find themselves, in most cases, more productive in the morning because it's kind of before all the shit starts coming into your head. So you've got kind of a clean slate first thing in the morning. So I highly recommend that you try tagging on an hour earlier to your day and just cutting it off at the end of the day. So you're getting the same amount of sleep. You're just able to be more productive with that last hour of your day by tagging it on at the beginning of the day instead. Let's see. Here's another tip for you guys. And this is really going to help you figure out where your day is going, right? So what I recommend to you guys is for a couple days, write down everything that you do in your day. In other words, you wake up. Let me give you an example. I wake up, the first thing I do is I set my phone and I do a 20-minute meditation while in bed. All right? So I'd write that down. Second thing I might do is hit the bathroom, brush my teeth, get some water going. So I write those things down and I put the time next to it. Then I might jump on the computer, check email. I might go and do a little bit of exercise. I spend time journaling, so I'll write down when I start journaling. And this way, every time you change a task, every time you like respond to a Facebook post or something, and it sets you off in a weird direction, you see how much time that's eating up. So if you do this for a couple days, you'll really be able to find where the time suck is happening in your day. So give yourself at least one day of doing this, but I would try doing this a couple days in a row so you can really start getting some of your patterns down. And then you can figure out what's eating up a lot of your time. And you can replace some of that with doing something that's more important to you. Does that make sense so far? Lastly, and this might or might not be possible for some of you, but I'm pretty sure it's possible for most of you, is batch, automate, or delegate. So what this means is, let's say you do laundry several times a day. I mean, several times a week, right? Maybe you do a load of laundry every couple days. Maybe it's a better idea to just block out one day a week to do that, so it frees you up of that time during the rest of the week. And oftentimes when you batch things together, the total amount of time that you spend is actually less. This can also be for preparing meals or something like that. Maybe you cut up your vegetables or whatever the heck that you're doing that takes up time for cooking. Maybe you prepare one sort of thing, like, who knows, like a chili or something like that you can eat every day. Instead of having to prepare food every day, you've kind of got something that'll last you 3 or 4 days. When it comes to delegating, you could, for example, with the laundry thing, maybe you actually just take your laundry to the laundromat and have them do it and fold it and deliver it. Yeah, it costs a little bit more money, but you're getting some time back. So that's something that you can balance. There's certain things in your life that maybe you can delegate for someone else to do. Maybe you can hire a virtual assistant to go through some of the tasks that you do online that eat up some of your time. Let's see. Yeah, a virtual assistant you can get for like $5 or $10 an hour. So it's really useful to for certain things that eat up your time that you can delegate. It's something that I do quite a bit. At the things that I'm less good at or the things that I don't enjoy as much. And it gives me more free time to do things like this and work on my music as well. When it comes to paying bills, a lot of the stuff you can do, you can automate all your credit card payments and bill payments and most of that stuff. I don't know if you can automate your rent or not, but that's another thing that eats up our time sometimes is just paying bills. So if you automate that, it will just automatically happen, and that's just less time that you've got to put into something else. So these are several different ways that you can free up your time, and I hope that you put at least one of these into use. But I suggest that you try each one of these and just see how it works for you. You might be surprised. So that's all I've got for you today. I've dropped those links in the comments below. So join me in a couple hours for the live workshop. And if you want to support my music, there's a link to do that as well. I appreciate you guys, as always. Have a fantastic morning. And I hope to see many of you guys in a couple hours. It'll be noon my time for this live workshop.